Do you think investors should be more optimistic?
Yeah, Nancy, morning. I think certainly there is a sort of, we've moved on a little bit. I mean, I think there's a lot of people talking about the sort of the potential for hard Brexit having fallen quite a lot over the course of last week. There's still a lot you can see that needs to be filled in here. I mean, over the weekend, you covered it in a little bit, but, I mean, as you said, Prime Minister May has secured the recommendation of the European Commission that the Brexit talks will progress to the next stage. But the European Council still got to accept that recommendation. And over the weekend, you had some toing and froing between David Davis and the Irish Deputy leader, Simon Coveney, which sort of suggests that we're not as far on as we might think. There is still a long way to go here. So I think you don't want to rule out altogether that hard Brexit still might happen, a crash out, but it does look like we've moved on a little bit.
Is that one reason why it appears to be some tentative trading in the sterling dollar right there? It wasn't so long ago we were pushing above 135. At what point do you think there becomes a case for going back into sterling, perhaps looking at gilts?
Yeah, it's a medium-term view for us, really. I mean, I think you can point to valuation on sterling and say, look, it's cheap relative to its fair value, assuming that sort of the UK really doesn't sort of collapse in the aftermath of Brexit, which we don't think it will. But in the short run, it's a very difficult one to call because you've got, and again, you pointed this out in the headlines, that the UK economy, the sort of the near-term horizon is darkening a little bit. The UK consumer is suffering a real wage cut. Businesses are a bit reluctant to invest. And if there's an increasingly noisy party going on in the world economy, the UK is outside having a smoke. So I think that's sort of, it sort of suggests that time is, it's a bit tough to call a sort of tactical bump in sterling, but medium term we'd suggest that positions are attractive.